Like, yeah, maybe if you're making a really low offer, like saying like this is lower than market value, but like saying you don't need to respond, saying you don't need to open this, that doesn't make sense. There's parts of it that's like ridiculous.
I don't even think you should be able to text people. Personally, I get so many spam text messages, but I think it's too easy, especially when you're getting it from county records.
I don't know how much they're losing right now at USPS, but they are losing money. If they didn't have marketers, like they'd be losing. They wouldn't be able to have it. Like someone, it would have to be a private sector, which is probably better, honestly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, we're talking about the rising regulations in land flipping. We're going to talk about texting regulations, cold calling, mail, new regulations in mail, but we're going to talk a lot about assignments, double closing, all of that stuff. But back with my brother and business partner, Ron. Welcome back.
Yeah, and to preface, guys, we're not lawyers, anything like this. It's just what we're seeing, what we've seen historically, what we think might be coming. Really, really valuable episode, I think, for anyone who is looking to get into this business, has any interest in it, or is currently in it.
Yeah, and it's one of the things when people are looking at this business model, or they're just getting in, and you know when they're always looking at external factors, and like it's for whatever reason, law and these type of questions are the number one most common questions.
Very, very common.
Yeah, it's like, what states can you double close in? Can I do it here?
It's a reason why people don't text. It scares a lot of people getting in texting, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, and when I think about like people, like government putting up regulations, stuff like that, like there's always a reason behind it. And I think like that, like why are these things happening? Like why is wholesaling getting more restrictive? It's because these sellers are pissed. Like these people who are getting these fake offers, it's not about the people that are following through on their offers. Like it's not about the people that are the land investors, the wholesalers that are making deals happen.
It's true.
It's about the people who are backing out of deals over and over and over again. Yeah. And it's just really, really unpleasant, I guess, from a seller's perspective.
Well, do you remember this? That made me think when we got, actually, I didn't know this until someone Googled my name and showed me. I have it printed out somewhere, but if you Google my name and you go to like the second or third page, there's a report on how local sheriff's department warning against people or land buyers sending mail for below market, something like that. And
that was in Georgia.
It's like a WLWT. Yeah, it was in Georgia. It's like a newscast.
I forgot about that.
And they put us on there. Yeah, and it said Apke land, and it showed our offer letter. They had it scanned in. It was our offer. But that's because, well, back then we were probably sending 30%. But we probably got deals from that. We were getting
100%.
That's the thing. But that was more of a trust issue. But that's what happens is you send this marketing, you send these texts, you cold call, and when they don't like the response, they don't like something going on, they think something's shady, you're backing out, it gets a bad rap. And then these people, it's how they're responding to it. They're calling the sheriffs, they're calling the state representatives, like, hey, this guy backed out. And it's just constantly the people are pushing it on the lawmakers, and that's how it gets passed through.
Yeah, and we can start in Georgia, honestly, because direct mail in Georgia has...
Well, I think we start with direct mail or I think we start with the category first besides state, not state.
Okay.
I don't think we go state by state.
Okay, I wasn't. Yeah, Georgia has the strictest direct mail law that I know of.
That's the only one that I know.
Yeah, that I know of. So what Georgia did probably a year ago, maybe a little less, they basically, if you're making offers on real estate, they basically made you disclose if you're offering less than market value. They made you say you do not have to respond to this. Like there are laws in place in Georgia where you need to put certain things on your envelopes if you're. It's not soliciting. That's not if you're offering to buy someone's property, essentially.
Yeah. What do you need to put? We looked it up last week.
So on the envelope, you need to say like you do not need to open this, and you don't need to. I think on the page it says you do not need to respond to this, and then on the page if you're making an offer price that's under I think the assessed value, you also need to say on that page like this is under assessed value or something like that. Again, this isn't word for word, but we just looked this up last week. I don't have it right now in front of me, but it's very like envelope and then multiple things on the paper that you need to disclose.
And it's the only state that I feel like they're going to pull this back.
I don't like it.
It's not a trend. So like texting and texting regulations and all of that, it's so new that I understand these laws and they're coming and they're getting more strict, double closing, things like that. But the mail one's interesting because it's like, one, mail's expensive. So there's a barrier to enter. It's not like you're just texting 100,000 people for $500 like you can on some cheap softwares. You know what I mean? Mail, there's a big barrier to do it. One. Two, we're offering to buy something, not sell something, and it's their asset. That law I don't see spreading. I really don't. I think they pull it back eventually.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll pull it back or not, just because there's probably a lot of pushback from people there. But yeah, I 100% agree. Like, it's not like it's easy. Like, mail's always been a thing.
It's expensive.
Like saying on like, there's parts of it that's like ridiculous. Like, yeah, maybe if you're making a really low offer, like saying like this is lower than market value, but like saying you don't need to respond, saying you don't need to open this, that doesn't make sense. No piece of mail you need to open. You know what I mean? So like, why are they
that's my
requiring that? It's
concern.
kind of silly.
And it's not like it's a text or your private. Like, you're sending a piece of mail to someone's house, and you
Yeah.
get so much spam mail all the time from postcards and local laundry and grocery. Like, all that stuff comes in your mail. I just never got that one. It's not like it's getting delivered to your phone and you open it and it's irritating you because it's literally poking you like
Yeah.
a phone call. Phone call's poking you. A text is poking you. Mail's so much different. I never really understood that one.
Yeah, you can probably thank us for a little bit for that law in Georgia. I think we would have something. We sent hundreds of thousands of mailers
sent a
there.
lot there.
And you can still do it, guys. There are still people that are putting those disclosures on there and doing it successfully in Georgia. Other than that, as far as I know, other than that, the other 49 states are pretty easy as far as direct mailers. Not many
What if it's a
restrictions on what you
neutral
can
letter?
do. Neutral letter, you still have to say in the envelope, because you're offering to buy someone's property. You need to say on the envelope, you do not need to open this, and then you need to say on the paper, you do not need to respond. I believe.
Garbage.
If I remember right. Yeah,
Garbage
so
law.
it's a lot, especially on the envelope. On the paper, like whatever. But yeah, so that is what that looks like right now as far as direct mail,
I
Dan.
don't like that.
We can go texting, or we can go kind of the wholesaling route. Wholesaling's interesting because like there are regulations around that. Some state, I don't know every single state that has regulations. I know South Carolina's added stuff recently. Oklahoma's had some wholesaling regulations for a while. Louisiana actually is an interesting one, where like doing this business model is very difficult in Louisiana from a legal standpoint. But I don't want to get too much into that because I don't know everything about it. But what are your predictions for wholesaling? And when I say wholesaling, it's not really double closing. People who are getting things on.
We can break them up and talk about both.
But let's talk about wholesaling, because I think that's a big one, and I think it's going to affect people faster than they realize in terms of like as they go state by state, and this stuff's not allowed. What are your thoughts on that?
On wholesaling?
Yeah, wholesaling, listing properties that you don't own. Like what is that going to
So
look
not
like?
double closing because you don't own it either.
Yeah, true. I mean, I guess they kind of go hand in hand.
That's where it gets tough in these laws. That's what you always have to look at is, can you list a property without owning it? Because a lot of the new marketing laws are about you being able to list it without owning it. That's the thing. You cannot market. I can't remember what state it was. Maybe it was Louisiana, but you cannot. Maybe it was South Carolina. You can't technically market a property that you don't own. An attorney in fact does not qualify.
I think personally it should be a highly illegal to list someone's property without their permission. I think it's really dirty. And that's why I don't like a lot of the way wholesalers do things. I think listing a property that you do not own, like it's your own, not that you do not own, and you don't have permission. I think that's a dirty.
Yeah. Who's
but
doing that?
people do that all the time. People do
Well,
that.
that should definitely be illegal. That's what they're trying to stop.
That's what I mean. That should be like, but they're like when someone gives you a notarized permission to list their property, like there shouldn't really be an issue with that. Whether they change that or not, I don't know. But if you're doing business transparently with the seller, I'm trying to find an end buyer. The issue comes with like they get these under contract, they act like they're the end buyer. You know what I mean? Like these wholesalers, a lot of times, like, yeah, I'll get this closed in 30 days, and then they fall out, or I need to extend this, and it's just a really poor way to do business, not scalable. And those are the reasons these laws are changing fast.
Yeah, it's interesting too. So so you think the laws in wholesaling, the assignment method, right? That's assigning or both or either or. Because that's what wholesaling is. It's I get under contract with you, I find a buyer.
I think it's fine if you have permission. I think it is going, if it's not already. But people do it. Like I think it needs to be cracked down on much more. These people who are marketing properties that they don't own.
Well, what it does too, and this is what you want to look into, is how much is the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, behind the lobbying behind these laws?
Yeah.
Because this is
They
saying
want
I need to
realtors
go to. They
representing
want
everything.
realtors to go, and that's where I have a problem with it. Because if I go to you, and I tell you I can get you $100,000 for your piece of land, and I'm gonna put all this work into it. I'm gonna list it. I might clear it out, and you go and I sell it for $150 to someone in the area, and we have a good agreement. You're happy with the $100.
Yeah.
I get a $50,000. I was very transparent with you. There is a value in that. Like if you do business the right way, there's value in assigning and double closing.
100%.
It's
yeah,
good
if
for the
If you're
market.
being transparent with the seller, everything
And
like
that's why
that.
now that I think about it, it just hit me. It's like, is this all the
could be.
the NAR? Like, there's no way.
Daniel's basically saying the National Association of Realtors is like behind these laws, which I think probably some, honestly, because they want as many properties and they have a monopoly, honestly. Like they have a monopoly on like listing properties almost.
It's stupid.
It's not like, I don't know how long it's going to be like it is. Obviously, last year with
There's a
what
lot
is
of
it?
changes.
With people paying how commissions worked. It's changed a lot
Commissions
in
not
the
being
last
fixed and all that, yeah.
not fixed commissions, everything like that.
Which they never were. It's just how they don't disclose that they're not. That was like the big thing.
There's still so many people out there, and maybe in our circle there you don't see it as much, but there's so many people doing shady business in terms of like how they're talking to sellers, what they're promising sellers. I see people on like social media all the time like, yeah, I tell the seller I'm going to get their money in 14 days. I'll tell them after 14 days like I need a couple more weeks, and it's just like they're acting like they're buying it with cash themselves when at the end of the day they're looking for someone to buy it. They're putting this line item on there for an assignment, and there's just a lot of business being done the wrong way.
Yeah, and so how I'm starting to look at this is, okay, you're a seller, you need to sell your property. What options do you have? And essentially, if you get rid of attorney and fax and double closing, things like that, and if you get rid of that, your only options are realtor or self-list, correct?
Or sell cash to a seller. You can sell to an investor still.
Ever wondered how land investing can be the fastest path to financial freedom? I break it all down in my new book, One Lot at a Time. I'll show you exactly how to find, buy, and flip land for huge profits without dealing with houses, tenants, or any crazy renovations. It's simple. This is the book that I wish I had when I first started. If you're ready to take control of your financial future, grab a copy now. One Lot at a Time by Daniel Apke. Find it at your local bookstore or on Amazon.com. Yeah, that's selling yourself. So like if I had a property, I can still sell it.
But an investor could be reaching out to you. Like we do all of our deals. Like it's going to be
Okay, I see what
impossible
you're
for
saying.
them to make it illegal for when I offer a seller. Like, yeah, they can change how I can offer everything like that. But if I reach out to a seller and they're like, yeah, I'll sell it for $100,000 to you, no one's going to be able to make that illegal for me to pay my own $100,000 in 2 weeks. Like there's nothing else. I'm not listing it.
Yeah.
The gray,
Flipping's never gonna. We can get into that.
yeah. Flipping's not going to like
You can't prevent flipping.
the way you offer, they can change. The regulations around the reaching out, which can really,
texting,
really
cold
change a
calling,
business.
those will change.
Yeah, and they have. Even, I mean, especially when we can go down a rabbit hole with this, with like all the AI, ringless voicemails, which I don't like personally. I think all that, I don't like not real people calling people, if that makes, or I guess that's not a real person, but
If
you're going to have
going their
AI
personal
agents
phone,
here soon.
I don't even think you should be able to text people personally.
Yeah.
Like, or you need a better way to somehow like the DNC or something. Because I get so many spam text messages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just me coming personally. Like, I just exclude being. Obviously, I want to be able to text people for this business and for our businesses.
Yeah.
We text all the time, but I think it's too easy, especially when you're getting it from county records and things.
You
like
think
that.
there's too big, like, and I actually think I already know the answer probably. You think there's too low of a barrier to get into like this business model in general? Like, there's just such a some of these texting services are insanely cheap.
Yeah, REI
some of these people are
Reply.
giving free skip tracing and not even great quality stuff. So there's just a low barrier to reaching out to thousands of people at once.
Yeah, I think we're still balancing out. Like there are litigators on the other side that are coming in requesting $2,000 for you for texting someone on the DNC list or
Yeah, but they're just as dirty as the dirty wholesalers.
Yeah, but it's checks and balances is what it is, and everything's evening out now. So we're gonna end up in texting somewhere in the middle of what we are now, what we're seeing in the direction. I feel like it's gonna be easier to get out of text marketing. There's gonna be more laws on it because if you think about it, Ron, like look at all the laws with emailing and like opting in and all of that. Like you need to have someone opted in. You can't just get all. With texting, you literally pull county records, you skip trace them, and then you can send them a text.
Yep.
Like there's no protection. Well, there is now, but there's not much enforcement going on. I think that's going to change the most. Direct mail, I think, is going to change the least. Cold calling also, if you have an actual person on the line, I feel like it should be more fair game because it's not a button.
I don't think because people have had phones forever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what I mean. But I'm saying it's manual.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think like power dialer, you being behind the phone, you having employees behind the phone, that should not be.
Anytime you can mass do something, there needs to be really
With a click
heavy.
of the button, there's 1,000 things.
Like
people that are
AI
getting.
voice, yeah. If they can call AI voice can call 1,000 numbers at once.
Yeah.
That should be heavily restricted. Just from I'm just saying personal protection of what I think is right and wrong.
It's a privacy thing.
If I wasn't in this business, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like it's gonna make everything like no one's gonna answer the phone ever.
Yeah, and based on what we're saying is how we're predicting the future to go. So there's going to be a lot. We're saying there's going to be a lot of restrictions on AI calling. There's going to be a lot of restrictions. That's why ringless voicemails. That's changing, but you're not calling them. You're just leaving a voicemail, which is fine, I think. Like if no one calls me and it doesn't ring,
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's ringless, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
actually
ring. I don't
It
know
just
how
goes
it
straight
works,
to
but yeah, it
voicemail.
just goes straight to voicemail.
That's all right because at least they're not like, you know what I mean? It's a little bit different there. But yeah, so texting and cold calling, texting and like the AI calling and all that,
Mm-hmm.
heavy future restrictions. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
If everyone if every investor at the click of a button can call 1,000 people, text 1,000 people, and like say I'm interested without ever doing anything manually themselves, other than write the script for the AI or for the texting, like it's going like stuff that you can do
Yeah.
that's scalable and low barrier to entry.
But right now it's great.
Texting?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people that are making a ton of money in texting. I think there's a ton of value in building a cold calling team. Like, I don't think you need to do that this second, but you need to be thinking about like what's coming. Like, if you don't like, if something it could be like that as far as like texting restrictions.
Oh my goodness.
And there
yeah.
could be lawsuits left, right, everywhere.
But
I
it
don't think
might
it's
be
going to be
like-
anytime soon.
Yeah.
And it might slowly come, but like if you're reliant
There
on
already
some
are though. It's just how it's getting enforced is low.
correct.
It's like, how do you enforce it? You have to have people that are going to go after
Or
you.
these people go after the services. The people go after the texting platforms.
Yeah.
That are
There needs
like
to be something to move it a little more.
100%.
But right now, it's really like that's the primary one that we recommend is like texting, mail, cold calling. Those are like the texting's going to change. Is it ever going to be completely illegal? No. There's going to be ways to do it. There might be a little more barrier. Who knows where it goes? But there's going to be more restrictions coming with texting for sure.
100%. I mean, we can predict all we want, guys. Like you think about it, you adjust your business. Like you think like, I think having it back in your mind, like I think if you're into this business a little bit, you should be sending some direct mail. And there's different avenues of how you can send direct mail. There's a lot more personalized mailing types nowadays. But
Mail is
mail's not going to
phenomenal.
change.
You know how many I like texting too. I like if you have a cold calling team, I love cold calling. Like if you're doing it yourself. I also like the agencies and stuff too. But if you're cold calling yourself and have a team, not you, but have a team, that's very sustainable. Like let's talk about sustainability. So cold calling yourself, like with your own team or an agency, like anytime you physically cold call and mail, those laws are not going to change a lot because they've been around so long. The laws are already in place.
And because mail is a government agency.
True.
So you think they don't actually make money though at the end of the day.
True.
But like if they didn't have marketers going through them, they would be losing. I don't know how much they're losing right now at USPS, but they are losing money. If they didn't have marketers, like they'd be losing. They wouldn't be able to have it. Like it would have to be a private sector, which is probably better, honestly. It would be better run, but that's a completely different conversation.
Yeah, but that privacy is a little different because like you got to think of what you're doing when you're texting and cold calling. There's a step that you don't need to do with mail.
100%.
With mail, you go on a website and you find their mailing address and you're there.
Yep.
The biggest step's skip tracing.
It'll be interesting.
The laws might be on skip tracing.
Yeah.
Like who knows?
We'll do another one here in a year, Dan, and see what's changed. Because I'm sure every year things change a little bit. It's not going to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a lawyer on a year. We had one on previously, but maybe we'll get a more national lawyer who knows these things.
We need one.
Nationwide, everything like that. That would be really valuable. Other than that, guys, if you guys like this episode, let us know what your thoughts are on this. I'm very, very curious to see the reaction from you guys who are maybe doing some of these methods that might change if you're wholesaling. I think the best way to do this business, though, is doing it transparently with sellers. I think that's a very scalable thing. Other than that, guys, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining, guys.